Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Surrey, and I'm delighted to be joined by my good friend Frank Panofen, who is the Global Marketing Manager at Particle Measuring Systems, who I haven't met actually face to face in, I think it's 2 years. Frank, was the last time I saw you. I think
Absolutely, yeah, that's
was it
for
was a
quite a long
Kima.
time.
Was a Kima, I think, was the last time I saw you. And today actually is going to be a bit different because we're not going to be talking about a specific topic, but we're actually looking back at 2020 and also looking ahead to 2021 and actually looking at what we've learned from the year and what positives we've taken out of the year as well and what the future trends are. So Frank, as I said, it's lovely to see you again, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, great. Thanks a lot. Thanks again. It's really good talking to you again now remotely, but love to do that next time when we're together at an exhibition or at an event next time. That's really, really great to see you again.
It is lovely to see you as well too, Frank. Well, look, before we start talking about how 2020 has been for you, the business, and so on, perhaps if you could take a few minutes just to explain what particle measuring systems can do or do, and what do you do as well in terms of your role there?
Well, that's very, very simple. Particle measuring systems is really uh, the market leader, I would even say, in providing you with the tools and the industry experts to detect and analyze and as well manage clean room contamination controls. So looking into that, I work for the life science division. The life science division is something which is directed mainly to the pharmaceutical industry. So we are serving our customers and we are providing solutions to our customers in the pharmaceutical industry and getting them the right sterility assurance and contamination control strategies.
Thank you for that. Well, let's look at 2020 then. So if we were looking at 2020, how would you describe 2020 in one word?
Sorry, one word is not enough, but I could give you two words if you like. And for me, it is excitement and acceleration. These are the two key words for me in 2021.
Really, that's interesting. So why would you say excitement acceleration?
Well, the challenges of this year are known, so we are not going to talk so deeply about COVID and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is, 2020, all of this what happened triggered completely new ways of thinking and working, and that's really absolutely important. Um, the good thing is in PMS, not all things were new, and we made quite fast these adoptions, and it made it much easier to adopt all these changes that were happening. There were different ways of communication via electronic media. That's for sure. That's why we are doing and sitting here today. That's of course, and of course we were spending less money for travel and for meeting people. That's an important aspect. And then the interesting aspect is that we were really able to increase our customer experience with us. We were able to provide them with new information via the channels they need, because they were in a different situation, we were in a different situation, and we could really target their channels and give them the information how they expect to get that. And of course, our organization works with the pharma industry, and that means that COVID had a lot of influence on this. So the vaccine manufacturing in itself, yeah, there is no doubt about that one. Then, of course, we from our side, we are partnering with global accessible suppliers. So, those customers, we are this. The global world has changed, and now the customers, the pharma industry is looking who is able to supply us in all regions of the world. That is not always true in former times. So we were really enhancing our strong connections to our customers already. That was really important. And acceleration, of course, this happened with an unbelievable speed. Changes that are accelerated so that you sometimes feel almost overwhelmed by how fast these things happened. Okay, that is the speed and this excitement around it, which I felt.
Right. Well, so obviously you as a business would have started out with set targets and objectives for 2020. So have you been able to achieve those goals that you set out with at the beginning of the year?
The reality is, targets and objectives are really flexible. They need to be adopted. Even targets nowadays for a year. If you say last year we set targets and did we reach them? very likely if you only talk about numbers, but in the end, I really say this year's targets were to be flexible and reactions are key. So our targets were changed, of course, at the very beginning of the year, and suddenly um, our target was to become a much more agile organization, and that is a real overachievement. I must say our organization went so agile, and so there was so much dedication and focus of all the employees on our customers and on our farmer industry, and that was extraordinary and absolutely outstanding. Um, I can really say that we are proud of what we were able to achieve, and that is better than any goal that we were setting at the beginning of the year, because we didn't simply know what's going to happen. This goal was totally overachieved, and the agility and dedication was fantastic.
Right. And how did you go about achieving that?
Well, the real thing is, I guess our organization was fit, and the reality is our executive were able to do the right decisions already quite early in the year, and we were adapting our approach continuously throughout the year. So, for example, we applied all these measures that were decided extremely vigorously, immediately. So already early in January, early in February, already we were no longer traveling. We were already implementing and saying, listen, the health of our people, our know-how is so important. We want to take care about our people. So this was applied almost instantaneously when there were messages happening. So that overall thinking of the capital of our organization with our people that are our capital, that was the key of our decision. And then on the other side, from a product perspective, we were improving our service offer and our instrument offer throughout the year, so that we're adapting quite fast to the year. So we're originally an instrument provider, but our services around work needed to change, and that was done absolutely great.
Fantastic. So you already sort of answered this, but when did you start planning for the pandemic? Because you said it was very early in January, you already started people to stop traveling.
Yeah, if anybody tells you he or she was planning for the pandemic, I would say that's not really true. We were not planning; we were reacting like everybody else. Okay, but when it appeared, uh, we reacted extremely fast and really implemented those actions very quickly. Exact timing I cannot really give you, because that was over 2 3 months where we had bong 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 one situation after the other, and we did the decisions, and the decisions were right at the right time, and we were able to keep our people safe and keep the connections to our customers. That was really impressive.
Right. And so what did you already have in place then to help you then with the pandemic?
Well, the big advantage is we were represented already in a lot of countries. We are a true global company. So we could go into each and every country. We could act in each country, in each region separately, depending on how it is evolving there, how the situation was there. So the true global situation of PMS was really a big advantage. Then the reality is our company was already implementing and was working remote smart working, like you would have said, and these kind of things we were looking into options of second sourcing and managing our global supply chains already very carefully from different areas. So that was in place, so we just needed to pull the triggers and make that happen. And then of course, COVID has accelerated. That's for sure. And then suddenly, other areas of the company needed to react on it. And then, if you think about having development engineers suddenly being in a remote setting and working from home, as an example, that was at the beginning a bit strange, but it was really great to see how they worked and how they managed these kind of things from in all areas and in all departments of our organization.
Brilliant. So you talked about you already had in place, obviously, a lot of the technology, but was there anything that you had to change to adapt to the new situation?
Well, as I said, we are originally an instrument, hardware, and software provider. So there is no difference. Shipping worked all the time, so that was all running. But the service aspect needed to get really a push into that. So the service aspect was completely different. So on-site validation or servicing needed to be changed into remote services. So customers were moving in the past of asking us to get more on-site services, and suddenly they would not be ready to accept those people at the plant any longer. So we needed to pull that back into getting back into remote services and to maintenance at our facilities. Um, anyhow, we do this anyhow somehow, and that just means we shifted the focus of our organization towards another solution that we already had in place. Mm, and the biggest achievement was, in fact, that our advisory team, you must understand, advisory team is are consultants, people that help customers in the sterility assurance. They suddenly they were so used to go to customers, help them, look into the facilities, walk around, do a Gamba walk or whatever, and tell the customers, listen, I would propose you this change. And in the end, they needed to do all of that suddenly in remote via safe electronical devices, via the cloud, exchanging pictures and video. Hey, but they did it. That was really great. And already in the first remote advisory and consultancy service was already done in spring, and that was impressive to see.
Fantastic. So if you look at it from a market perspective, has the market changed, or had it changed since March?
Well, we are in the pharmaceutical market. So do you believe the pharma market changes rapidly? Well, the answer is there are the same customers, the same competitors, the same regulations. So generally speaking, market didn't change. The real change was that our customers suddenly needed to change their way of working, their change of um, their way of contacting us. They were suddenly in the difficulties that they didn't have implemented remote working, smart working, and this kind of stuff. So, what was impossible to consider a year ago in a conservative company where all the people always went every day and every morning into the company, suddenly they were asked to do remote and smart working, and that has changed, and that means as well for us it was much more accepted, or they were much more accepting our approaches and our communication strategies.
Right. Okay. So if we now look at 2022, already looking at 2 years ahead, ridiculous. So if you look at this year in 2020, I know it's been a very, very difficult year for so many people and tragic for many people as well. But if we try and look at the positives, what would you say are the main positives you can take out of this year for the business and for the industry?
Well, the real important is the pharma industry has learned lessons. They're moving, they're accelerating, they are accepting changes much faster than they have been accepting previously. Um, this is a very positive aspect for companies like us that are leading technology companies with innovative approaches and high flexibility in itself. So for us, it's really refreshing to see that the pharma customers suddenly move and they are active and agile to make things happen. Um, the importance of understanding that the global markets with the highest cost efficiency is great. So previously they were really looking into, well, I have to be more very cost efficient. I need to take this supplier, that's the cheapest one. This is the one. But suddenly it is the value of locally represented experts, people that can help you when you need them at the time when you need them, in close to your facility, close by as well in electronic media like we're doing. That suddenly represents such a high value that pharmaceutical industry really values that. And then finally, politicians, the politics around healthcare systems and about pharma have changed completely. It was a cost center. Healthcare was a cost center since a year ago. Everybody wanted to reduce healthcare cost. And nowadays they're investing into pharma, they're investing into healthcare. So there is a complete change in mindset in the public and as well in the politicians' minds. That's really great for us, for the market, and as well for the people, because they will benefit from this healthcare improvements that will happen now after that.
Right. And again, looking back at 2020, what learnings do you think you can take from what's happened this year and carry on into next year?
The key learning is people in organizations, if you let them, they show high motivation and dedication, focus if you let them do the things. If you give them, don't direct them too much, but they will understand the situation and they get the drive, that they get everything running. Um, just one example again, the remote advisory. We didn't even need to ask them to do something. They were doing it themselves. They were finding the solutions themselves and pushing that to customers and making that happen. So that's really an absolute great example. Um, and for me, looking backwards, there is no reason that we should regret anything that we did. I think our our approach, our way of thinking, reverting decisions is not my as well not my style. I don't think that this needed. We have done great, and I think we should be doing the same. Of course, there are small things that you would always do different, but hey, these learnings we take into the next, hopefully not next pandemic, but into the next years, and then we will become even better.
Right. And I mean, talking about learnings and so on. So, do you think some of the changes that have been made are here to stay now for 2021? And if so, what changes do you think are likely to be here now and become the new norm?
Yeah, you know, the pandemic has changed everything. We know that. Everybody in the world will agree the world has changed and we will not be changing back to what has happened or what was the normal in 2019. Travel and travel budgets, this will change. Companies have learned they can save a lot of money by making remote sessions, remote interactions. Productivity can be increased by that, and by carefully looking into those kind of things. So that will change. That will stay for us for not as intense and not with the same scale, but it will be as it is. Um, then we understand that the way we were doing these remote services, for example, in some aspects have really increased even the value to the customer in the content perspective. So there was a much higher learning in terms of coaching, following. There was better timely schedule. We could always get the people we wanted to have over the phone at the time we needed them, and not at the meeting. When you have scheduled the 1 day meeting, you need to get everyone involved and in and out, and they don't have the time for it. No, you get them right at the same time. When you want the answers, they bring the documents, they send it to you via the cloud, and so on. So these kind of things, I guess, which would have been a bit skeptical a year ago, this will change. I'm sure it will stay. um, this coaching approach is really great via remote settings. That's really nice. And then finally, hey, face masks, they will be there. We will have face masks all over the planet. When I do remember, I was traveling and I was always seeing the Asians that had not pandemic, but the first SARS. I was seeing them in the airport, and I was like, why are they wearing face masks? I think this is now socially accepted. We will have that. We will even think about whether this will help us in protecting us against the flu or any other infection diseases, and it will stay in our situations. Okay. So I think we have learned to collaborate as teams remotely, and this is something that we are going to continue in that way, and we are going to understand how we interact face to face in personality at the right time with the right sense of when and how to do that.
Okay. And looking at key development or key trends for 2021, what do you see those being going forward?
Okay, pharma again. Trends are slow, but COVID acted as a catalyst, and this will speed up. So the Annex 1, uh, of course, we are waiting now. It is delayed. Everyone is waiting for the Annex 1. It's a buzzword. And what's going to happen with it? We all know what's going to happen because we have seen all the drafts. I think we are now at number 13 or something like that. So what will happen in the upcoming days and months is that the words contamination control strategy, all these concepts around cleaning, disinfection, continuous micro monitoring, single use technologies, and all of that, this will be keeping up speed, and will be in the press, and it will be our focus in 2021, like it was in 2020 or as well. And of course, we as PMS are ready to help customers making this important step. Um, we will maybe as well, and that's something I cannot predict now, but I fear, or not even fear, but I anticipate that there will be some economic impacts of COVID. So I do believe that some areas in the supplier range, and as well in the pharma companies range, there will be something like consolidations, mergers and acquisition happening due to the learnings and the situation that happens from an economic scale. Um, there is, of course, an expectation that trends on investments in second and local sourcing will happen. That's already something that people are expressing. The companies have learned I cannot source all the time from China when when I have operations in Europe, and vice versa. Chinese companies cannot rely always on the European side when they have their local market and Europe is in lockdown. That's not possible. So localization will surely have it is a trend, and then the politicians at the end will give um, the funding. You know, all these fundings have been announced, but they're not released. The money is not there. So the money from the that has been proposed in 2020, it will enter the industry in 2021. So this will give a big push into the farmer organizations and will drive them to make new things happen. Okay. Well, I think that's the main trends that I would expect.
Right. Okay. So, from your point of view, what message would you give to those watching this now as a sort of a final word that you want to give out to the industry?
First of all, eh, everyone should stay healthy and try to be as low as possible impacted by the pandemic. That's of course everyone. And then if there is anything in 2021 that will happen where we are going to where you need support on sterility assurance topics in the pharma industry, I hope you will remember that PMS is the best partner in that aspect to help you in this. And we are globally represented. We have our advisors that can help you remotely. So I believe this is something that will end up in 2021.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, I certainly wish you and your family good health and happiness for the festive season and for 2021 as well. So, Frank, thank you very much for that. If people want to know more about PMS, where can they get more information?
Well, very simple. Most of the people that will watch this already have PMS as local representatives. So please contact your local representative. If somebody needs help, contact me. There is no problem. Anybody in PMS can be contacted. That's clear. And then, of course, we have our great webpage with a lot of information on it. That's pmeasuring.com. So I would really ask the people to enter and then visit our webpage and get the right information there. Our LinkedIn accounts, our LinkedIn or social media connections are there. So I guess if somebody wants to find PMS or particle measuring system, there is always easy to find, and the help is there.
Yeah, well, all the links will be above the video, so you don't need to write anything down, viewers. They will be above the video. So, look, Frank, we haven't seen each other for 2 years, but it's lovely seeing you, my friend. It's a shame Akima didn't happen this year, because I was looking forward to seeing you again this year as well. But who knows now? Maybe in a couple of years' time when Akima is, and certainly maybe at the back end of next year, we can catch up. All that's left for me to say then is, Frank, thank you very much for your time. That was really interesting, actually. You know, I'm doing a number of these and hearing different people's views, and it's always really interesting to get the thoughts from different people in different segments of life science and what they think the future is going to hold. So thank you very much for sharing your views. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah, and absolutely, it was really great meeting you again. And under these circumstances, I hope that the holidays will be very, very peaceful and of course safe as well for you. And it gives everyone the chance to really to recharge batteries for 2021, because it will be again challenging, and it will be again really a lot of speed, acceleration, and excitation coming up in 2021. And I'm expecting that the batteries need to be loaded once again. That's for sure.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you, viewers, for watching. As Frank said, if you've got any questions, you might agree with him, you might disagree with him. whatever your views are, feel free to put them in the comments below the video, because I'd love to hear your views as well, and whether you agree with those trends or not, and what the learnings were. I mean, do you think you can apply some of those learnings to your business as well if you haven't already, or have you learned something else that you can share with the viewers as well? And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.